This podcast is sponsored by Pogo, Property Operations on the Go. Facility managers know how challenging it can be to keep everything running smoothly. That's why Pogo was created, a white-labeled software solution designed by property managers for property managers. Pogo is your ultimate all-in-one platform for managing multiple assets. With Pogo, you communicate with your tenants, manage maintenance requests, control property access, manage bookable spaces, and much more. Plus, with advanced analytics, Pogo empowers you to optimize your operations anytime, anywhere. The best part? Pogo is completely customizable to fit your brand and business. Simplify your operations, enhance tenant satisfaction, and save money with Pogo. Ready to make the switch? Visit gopogo.us to schedule your demo today. Pogo, one system, multiple solutions at your fingertips. Hello, everyone. Mark Beffert here, bringing you relevant discussions with leaders in the commercial real estate industry. I'm proud to have today Megan Gelmers. Megan Gelmers is president of our development here at Robinson Park, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've done and some of the things we're getting ready to embark on. So glad to have you, Megan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into talking about the development world and stuff, tell us a little bit about how you got into the real estate business.
It's a great question. I was actually in oil and gas and realized that wasn't quite the right path that I wanted to go down. I wasn't passionate about it. It wasn't, we spend so much of our time working, and I just started to evaluate what other opportunities are out there. What is something that I could just truly enjoy doing every day? And so left the oil and gas industry, started working at a smaller firm that did some commercial real estate. And then around the time I was graduating with my MBA is when I had the opportunity to interview with you. And I just immediately remember like my brain just like all the gears were turning and thinking about all the opportunities, and just it was like being a kid in a candy shop, just with all the potential and opportunities that were going to come with working with you. And I just, it almost seemed like that is exactly what I had been waiting for. And so what draws me to development and investments is that we get to create environments that truly matter. For me personally, I've always, even before I was in commercial real estate, I think this is why it's such a perfect fit, is no matter where I am, whether it's inside or outside, I'm always motivated and energized by my environment. So having the opportunity to be able to impact people's lives, whether that's where they work, the hotel they're staying at, the park that they're going to, and developments that have a lasting impact on our city. I don't want to go build a strip mall that is run down in 20 years. We have plenty of those. We get to create environments and developments that stand the test of time, and that's what's exciting.
Yeah, well, Megan, I love that, and I will say it's actually an honor that we're working together because you challenge me, and sometimes I fight back a little bit, but I need that, and it's the only way that we can really have something truly unique that really, and I love how you said stand the test of time and impactful for people's lives. And that's what we try to do, create environments that people really are positively impacted. And I think that, so, we've...
By the way, am I the first person to ever challenge you?
Well, no, but you're the first.
Is that where the heart wound comes from?
You're the first person that challenged me the way you challenged me. But hey, I need that. So, one of the challenges that we have had is we've said yes maybe to some developments before we maybe have been ready. And
do you know what I'm thinking about?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me. What are you thinking about?
Convergence. That stands out in so many ways, extremely challenging project. Not just financially, but there was financially, but also reputation. We were talking to all city leaders. We were talking to all sorts of lenders, and it was during a economic environment where construction costs and interest rates were rising dramatically, and at the same time, we're trying to nail down what our budget is and what the market can support, and not everything always looked out. The data didn't always show a perfect story, but because of the commitments we had made and the conversations we had had and the city's commitment to us, we stayed committed to that project. I learned so much. I will say that I was just more of a benefactor, getting to see you and Dick Tannenbaum staying committed to that and seeing that project through. Because I don't know if I would say, oh yeah, everyone needs to go do that. I don't know if I would recommend that. Hope that's okay to say.
No, it's absolutely okay to say. It's kind of one of those. I always say, after I'm done with something, I say, if I knew then what I know now and how hard it would be, would I have still done that? So I'm going to ask you that question. Would you still do convergence today if you knew how hard it was going to be?
Let me unpack that. I mean, again, I want to preface this. You and Dick Tannenbaum took on all the risk and all the you all carried that, and I was along for that journey.
But that's not true, Megan, because you took a lot of risks too, because and there's all sorts of risk, and people tend to just focus on the financial risk, but there's relationship risk, there's reputation risk, there's community risk. There is a lot of different risk, and that project had a bunch.
And we had those conversations so many times. I kept asking why, and we I mean, I remember being in your office and talking about each of those risks at various times throughout the 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So it was tough. So would you do it again?
I'm gonna unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get more into this theory in a little bit, but I completely believe in the strategy of having a development at the heart of Oklahoma City's Innovation District. I 100% stand by it, and the strategy and the intent. I would have just liked to have done it maybe in like 2018 or 2019.
You want to be done not during COVID, before COVID.
Yeah, not pushing those market rates.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Somebody has to, right?
I hear you. So since we're on convergence, what do you think? Give me some of you believe were the greatest challenges we faced. You've mentioned interest rates. You mentioned construction costs.
Absolutely.
So those are a couple. But what are a couple of the other challenges that at one point you thought were insurmountable?
There were times where we were still working on new market tax credits to close the capital stack, and you just recently went to China for EB5, and I think the uncertainty of we would show a lot of scenarios of what that capital stack was, and that's 7 different vehicles, and not all of those closed at the same time. So thank goodness for the lenders we do have, and the city and the partners we have. But I think that was always just totally new concept for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. So
I don't know if I answered that fully.
No, I don't.
I think I also started to get. It was also, let's talk about going back to the environment. this was during a time when not everybody was working in the office. And one of the main components at Convergence is an 8-story office tower. Of course, it's focused on more specialized space and for aerospace and defense and life sciences. But we were betting on against what like the environment was in the office space, and also pushing those rates and saying, we also are going to be at the high end of the market on our rental rates at the same time when people have downsized their space and or have hybrid work schedules. I mean, a lot of that's changed now, and you were steadfast in that. You knew, but it was just that I think that was for me just always being like,
yeah, no, I hear it. When you're in the middle of it, sometimes you think some of those items become insurmountable. You go, how are we going to get through this? I get that.
And I did that this week. I was meeting with Todd McNeil at Gardner Tannenbaum about one of our potential projects with them. And when I get in, so I did the pro forma and I look at the numbers and all the data we have as a company and what we know for this particular asset type. And when I'm in the numbers, I get so focused on that and that. But then when you kind of like push the numbers back and you like lean back and you think about where Oklahoma City is headed, like you have to think about your location, what would you be competing with in that area, and I you know this, I am such a proud citizen of Oklahoma City and such a believer in our progress, and we're a big believer in our trajectory. And so when you take a moment and you like look back and you kind of start to think about, what's your core strategy, where's the location, what sort of impact does this project have, then that's when I get more comfortable and I'm like, oh, okay, it'll work.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So let's change subject a little. Not really change subjects a little bit. Kind of going on what you just said. We see a lot of opportunities, and what do you think? How do you decipher an opportunity that is one that we should pursue versus one that could become more of a distraction and not in our wheelhouse? How do you make that distinction? Because as you said, the city's growing, and we want to really be the force that really helps provide spaces and places that people really can be proud of and congregate as a community and be a part of. So
great question. I think there's 3 answers I have to that. One is the impact. So what impact does the development have on the community? Right now we're focused on Oklahoma City, but eventually I see us growing our development, Robinson Park development in other markets. Yeah. But for the sake of this podcast, let's just talk about Oklahoma City and the impact. So Convergence, that was a huge economic job opportunity impact. The entertainment district right now is creating an environment that doesn't currently exist in Oklahoma City. So how does it impact your community? Who are you partnering with? Whether that's a private partner or a public partner. Again, our city is progressive and constantly investing in itself. And so is there opportunity to partner with the city? Is there a public partnership there? I think we do. We've had a lot of success there. I think we have a good reputation with city stakeholders.
I think we do.
Largely in part of you, but
no, it's all
we
of
don't
us.
take those relationships lightly. We really respect those stakeholders. And then location. It's like, I think everyone's heard location, location,
Yeah.
location. And if you just get down to the basics, that's critical. So going back to Convergence, it's in the Innovation District. The Entertainment District is the last large scale remaining land in downtown Oklahoma City. And it is the missing puzzle piece for everything happening from Okana to the boathouses to the convention center to the New Thunder Arena to our city parks in downtown and the core. So that location, yes, we're going to still experience financial risk and what does the pro forma tell us and all of that. But at the end of the day, as our city is growing at the rate it is in that location, how would that not work?
Right. No, I'm with you. We're betting on it. It's a big. So, I'm going to take a few of those topics. So, every development starts with an idea, really, and then that idea finds a place, and that place then creates that development. Any development after the idea, you have to then start imagining. It's a blank canvas. Every piece of property is a blank canvas, and we're like artists trying to paint our picture on that piece of property. Correct? But every project requires capital, a lot of money. So we all then prepare our pro formas. How do
Hopefully not too many.
no, yeah, one performer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Great,
Revisions
great
allowed,
point.
but I hope there's not.
Yeah, great point. So, how do you take a step back from that idea and that analysis, and not get too caught up, not get too paralyzed by an analysis and telling you it won't work? Because what you said, Laurel, sometimes you have to take a step back and look at a bigger picture and a long-term perspective.
Yeah, I did that just this week.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. You go from an idea and then how do you not get too caught up in the numbers that you're tainted by old way of thinking?
Great question. I liked your analogy to having a blank canvas and being artists, but in this, I almost think of like puppeteers, and so it's this like delicate dance of analysis is critical, but you can't let it become an excuse for inaction. And
Ooh, I like that.
so you have to it's all about taking a step back and having like that global perspective. And again, I think you have to trust your instinct a lot.
Yeah.
Because, well, for you, I'm like, you've got great instinct because you've been doing this for 40 years. But I also think for me, with a little less experience, there are just like, it's an instinct of, again, going back to some of those elements we've talked about, but the location, the impact, who do we get to partner with on this? What is the strategy? And is that something that we can stand by and go through really hard several years to make that happen? So I also think setting clear decision points are important. So what are your objectives? I mean, that goes back to like your strategy. And if you are, whether that's, I mean, everybody wants to make a return.
You have to, or you're not going to do it.
Yeah, and you're not going to raise money to do it.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's always at the forefront of our decisions, but also, like, what's the environment? So, can we accomplish this for our partners and our investors and hit certain returns? But what can we do for our communities? So, if we can build a 15-story condo, where does that satisfy the returns we want to make for our partners? And then two, okay, but like, where's the best location for that condo? What's the environment around that? How does it connect to everything around it? So, it's truly a balancing act
Yeah.
between using analysis and data, but also looking at the
Yeah,
intangibles
I
as
love that.
well.
No, I love that. So let's take that and the convergence was a
Never
hole
heard of it.
was a hole in the ground. It was a detention pond.
Yeah.
The entertainment district that you're getting ready to embark on is an old producers co-op, and doesn't look like much today.
Not right now. Diamond in the rough.
From your perspective, how do you spot those opportunities in what may not appear to be an opportunity?
Yeah. I think you and I talked about this not too long ago, but it's thinking beyond what exists today,
Mm-hmm.
which is risky and scary for some people. But progress isn't going to come from focusing on what we need, like what we have or what we need today. It's thinking ahead towards
I like that.
where our city's headed. Again, I don't think you have progress and growth by just focusing on today.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to think ahead. You've got to think into the future, and start anticipating what's achievable tomorrow. What's achievable in a year, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years, and beyond that. And so, I think a lot of opportunity, like that's the fun, is like the brainstorming and like the coming up with ideas. Like that's the most exciting part about development, thinking about what could be, and then kind of starting to shape your plans from there.
So a lot, Megan, a lot of our projects and projects in general really require a lot of partnerships. And you've alluded to some of the partnerships with not only investors, but the city and others. So talk a little bit about partnerships and how that's instrumental to ensure that you have the right partnerships from all your vendors to your architect, your contractor, to the city, to your investors, and how do you align all that?
Well, partnerships work best when there's clarity and trust from the start. And so sharing a clear vision together, because everyone's going to come in with different ideas and different things they want to focus on that day. But we've talked a lot about like taking the step back and, looking at the global view. And so what is everyone's shared vision? So making sure you're aligned there, and then trust. If we're brought on as the developer, I like to think that's because we're highly trusted in the commercial real estate business. And as a developer, I think we don't take it lightly that our partners trusting us and what we say we're going to do, trusting that we're showing data that we can support, and that we'll execute. And so I think building trust and with any partner, whether it's public or private, is critical. And them, I think having their trust. And so also communication is key. Figuring out those channels, and sometimes it's the smaller details, but who do I need to be communicating with, and transparent about what timelines look like, what the process is, being flexible, and at the end of the day, it's about everyone in the partnership winning, which I think goes back to like having the same shared clear vision.
Right.
But
That's a good word, clear vision.
We don't approach things just to win for ourselves. We approach everything as that it's a win for everyone.
So you've been successful and done some pretty remarkable things at your young age.
Because you gave me the opportunity.
Well, everything starts with an opportunity, and you've actually taken that and made it happen. So, what are some things that you would recommend to somebody that wants to get into the development business?
You've got to be adaptable. It's not always clear and
Took
straightforward.
you a while to think about that one. I was wondering what you were going to say.
What were you thinking I'd say?
I had no idea. I wanted to hear.
Adaptable,
Yeah.
because we the field goal moves quite a bit, and whether
Every
that's
day.
on planning and or if it's on the financing side, nothing is ever cookie cutter and straightforward, and we wouldn't want it that way. But I think being adaptable, but it's also very rewarding. Well, depending on what your passion is, but for me, at the end of the day, it's rewarding and motivating to create unique environments for a community, and being able to actually see it. It's a tangible work product. And it involves all sorts of aspects, but there's a creativity aspect to it as well, and working with designers on what exteriors and interiors look like, and I don't know. I also, commercial real estate lends an opportunity to work, especially on the development side, lends an opportunity to work with a lot of different individuals with a lot of different specialties. Again, because you're kind of that orchestrator, and that's a lot of it is trust and relationships to get things done.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So when you walk Convergence, do you get chills? Do you?
Yeah, I have moments where like I get out my camera and I'm like, that angle and like the way the light is coming in, and the walking in the lobby feels like I couldn't picture this on paper. I couldn't feel this on paper. I can picture things, but you can't feel it. And so once you walk in, and you're like, oh, I mean, maybe we need offices over there. I'm just kidding. But you walk in and you just immediately feel energized by that space.
That's right.
And then walking, that site went from 2.7 acres to 5.5 acres. And like you said early on in this podcast, it was a retention pond, and now it's
this beautiful place. It's this beautiful place.
Incredible development that is beautiful, and you can see it from the height. You can see it from 235. You can see it from downtown, the west side of it. But for me, it's going in in the middle of the development. So going in on the east side and going in through the parking garage, or walking up through the outdoor amenities, or walking through the promenade. It's just you can picture things, you can look at renderings, but then once you feel it, there's something very special to that.
I agree. Seeing it on paper doesn't really, it's hard to imagine that when you see it done. That outdoor amphitheater is so cool.
Yeah, its backdrop is the Oklahoma City skyline.
It's so beautiful, so beautiful. Talk a little bit about some of the things people don't see that are critical within a development. And there's a lot of pre-development stuff that happens that then ultimately shapes what the productivity or the functionality of a particular development long term.
So much that's unseen. The infrastructure is, we just finalized the master development plan for the entertainment district, and now we're engaging with Johnson and Associates, and really laying out where do the utilities go. We got to work with OG&E. Where does the stormwater go? The sewer, right now there's major infrastructure that cuts through the middle of those 60 acres, and we're going to have to move that. No one's ever going to see it. No one's ever going to know how much we spent on that, but that's critical for shaping everything that you see that happens above ground.
And don't forget the hundreds of easements that run through that property that got to be redefined,
yes,
abandoned,
yes,
or restructured.
Yes, absolutely. And working through all of that. And that's a great question, because there is so much that goes into development, like the pre-construction, the startup of it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, we've seen some early estimates of what it might be, and
pretty big numbers.
Those are big numbers for infrastructure, for the things that no one's going to see. But you have to know that building the correct infrastructure up front is what also provides long-term value.
Yeah. But it's a big number, but when you spread it over a large swath of land, and then you're preparing sites that are ready to build on. Yeah. So that does help. But and then tell us a little bit about your thoughts on connectivity on a particular site and how that is critical to your surroundings.
Yeah. I think that like location and goes hand in hand with connectivity in terms of importance. I didn't talk about connectivity earlier. I said location, but
no, it's good.
That I think today there's so many different islands. I call them islands, but real estate developments that maybe someone chose the location because the price of land made more sense than being in the downtown core. So they go off and they build islands, and they focus on what they have, but they don't focus on what's around them. And so I think connectivity is so critical, because we have so many great assets and districts in downtown Oklahoma City. And I think siloing ourselves, or anyone who's a developer, and siloing themselves from any of the assets they have adjacent to them is a missed opportunity. So again, that's where you kind of have to start. You have to think more about what this city what's sustainable in the future, not sustainable today. And the entertainment district, we want to connect to Bricktown. We want to connect to the Boathouse District. We want to connect to the New Thunder Arena. We're all going to experience success when we connect and work together. So yeah, connectivity is a key. And I think connectivity in terms of what are the outdoor spaces, like, what are the outdoor environments that connect us to our surrounding districts? And is that, how are you traveling? So is that by foot? Is that by bike, rollerblades, electric scooters?
Right.
So how do you make that accessible? The connectivity needs to be easily accessible.
Well,
and pedestrian friendly.
No, I think that's all great, and that kind of leads me into. So you talk about the connectivity, and you actually talked about the location of the entertainment district and how that's critical to linking the other elements of downtown. Talk a little bit about the features inside of development that you think are neat and critical.
Okay. So we talked about connecting to the outside the development, and then looking inside. What is the development?
That's right. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Great way to say it.
I think it's having a lot of elements that can bring people together. So a lot of outdoor amenities. So a park, or I'm not going to take credit for this idea, but your idea of building all the nodes, so someone can have a pop-up concert, or a pop-up TED Talk, and just creating elements where people can come together and bring them out of their individual environment and bring them into a community. And so outdoor amenities are critical. I also think that, we talk a lot about the PUD and creating associations and really having design standards
Yeah, yeah.
so that if if another developer comes in and buys some land, it needs to engage well with the environment that's already created.
Right, right. So you mentioned a PUD. For people that are listening, PUD stands for a planned unit development, and that tell us a little bit about that and why that's critical to shaping what you're ultimately building.
So the PUD is for a larger development. So, 60 acres with a master development plan. And that starts to shape and form what a lot of people might know it as zoning, but it's a larger approach to getting the development zoned for multiple uses.
Right, right. And what ultimately can happen in there, right?
Yeah.
So,
And what can ultimately happen? How many stories can a building be? How many residential units can be in there?
do you think we're ready for high-rise residential, as you mentioned? Because you're right, our PUD most likely will include some residential with some high buildings. So, you think we're ready?
Yes.
All right. And
In a phased approach.
right, yeah.
It doesn't mean we're building 3 at once.
Right. Yeah, good point.
But
Good point.
a strategic phased approach and right sizing it. Again, that's where we get a show that as developers you have to think about the future. So yeah, someone may not, you may not fill up a high-rise condo building today,
Right.
but you've got to design it, you've got to build it, you have to market it. There's so much that goes into it, but you got to think about what does Oklahoma City want and ready for in 2 years and 3 years. And we've been on the national and international stage recently because of the NBA Finals. Go Thunder! And we're going to be on the international stage again in summer of 2028. And there's so many reports that come out lately, and I can't remember all of them, but one recently was talking about how $100,000 means in Oklahoma City versus other cities. And so with all of those statistics, and then being on having people, hundreds of thousands of people will be coming here for the Olympics, and they did had so many we had international and visitors from across the country for the NBA Finals. But what are people experiencing when they get here? And
Great point.
From the city approach, it's and once they have the experience, what are you creating to where they want to come back? Which also makes me want to go back to your question is, looking inside of a development is creating you've got to have something that is anchors. I think that anchors your development. And we have that with the maps for multi-purpose stadium that the city will own. That's anchored. But so we have such an opportunity. There's going to be so many individuals and thousands of people coming to our site to go to soccer games, to go to concerts, to go to arts festivals. And what our job is to create an experience where people, one, decide that they want to live there and be there on a daily basis, or create an environment where they're returning for the restaurants that we'll have, the outdoor amenities and the parks for kids to play. And so I think that's critical, is you have to have something that's compelling for people to return.
I love that.
Or not want to leave.
Yeah, no, I love that. So you have been part of our a hotel team in acquiring hotels, and we've acquired 10. And I think we got some pretty special hotels, including 2 in downtown Oklahoma City, the Colcord and the Skirvin. So I agree with you that I do think that we're ready for some high-rise residential living. We have a little bit of it here, but nothing to the extent that we want to build, other than here at City Place.
Yes, and these residents are very special.
Yeah, they are. So, how do you think that your uh, move into the hospitality business, how is that going to help you shape the right project from a condo? Because it is actually about an experience, a concierge service, an amenity mix. How is the hotel business going to help you move into that?
Yeah. So the vision with the high-rise condo is that those are, just to be clear, those would be units that are for sale. So you have, it's not renters, it's owners, it's homeowners, and creating, I think at our hotels, we've done a good job creating special experiences. We just did the $22 million renovation at Skirvin. And I think that is a trophy asset for anyone in the city to enjoy. And with all the retail outlets we programmed there. But condo, yes. So having a condo association, similar to an HOA, if you live in a neighborhood that has an HOA established, think of it like that. But it controls the environment for those condos. And having a concierge service, because again, this is about you have to take that risk and think of or create environments that don't exist today. So you can look at I think you and I both enjoy looking at developments in other cities. And so when you're walking down the street of New York and you see a high rise and you peek in and there's the Bellman and there's
constantly taking pictures.
So thinking about what we see in other cities and applying that to what Oklahoma City is ready for.
The one thing I love about our discussion, you and I work daily and we're just so much into the weeds and getting through our current tasks. I love this discussion, this podcast today, because it's forcing us to just kind of have a casual conversation and talk about things. And these developments are hard. These developments are risky, but these developments are transformative, and we constantly think about different ways to ensure that we're impacting. And I love what you said early on, impacting people's lives. So I'm excited to watch your career long after I'm retired. I'm probably not going to retire. I'm not going to retire. But long after I'm gone, today. I'll be watching you from heaven down below, watching continue to impact this city and what we have going on. So thank you for coming today. I know that you're excited. I'm excited for a few announcements that we're going to make sooner than later, hopefully by
the end of the year is going to be an exciting. Every year it's like you think the holidays are going to be slow, and then the end of every year it's like it's crazy. But I don't think you or I would have it any other way.
We wouldn't. It will not be. It will never be slow.
No,
it'll never be slow for us. But
what is slow?
So thank you for coming today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunities you've given me.
Yeah.
I think your trust in me from the get-go was so empowering. And so I wouldn't be here today if you hadn't given me opportunity. And I appreciate that. And hopefully I get to my point in a career where I can provide opportunities and empower others.
Well, I'm counting on it for you running our development group. So, we always like to end with what we call the real op of the day. And I think that the real op of the day is taking a step back and really visualizing and being more of a visionary about what you think you would like to paint on a particular canvas, and then applying that in real life in a particular project in real estate. So you were instrumental in the Convergence Project, helping us all get that off the ground. And I can't wait to see what we all do in the entertainment district. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. In our next episode, I'll be joined by Mike Knopp, founder of Riversport. Mike has led the transformation of the Oklahoma River into a world-class venue and played a key role in securing Olympic competition for Oklahoma City in 2028. We'll talk about how it all started, the partnerships that made it possible, and what it means for our city to host the world. We hope you enjoyed our discussion today and learned some things along the way. The day is what you make of it. See you in 2 weeks.